You're listening to the New World to Go podcast with your hosts, Redbyrd and BDLG.
Hello and welcome to another episode of New World to Go. I'm your host, Redbyrd, and with me is BDLG. Bordy, we got a big one tonight. Lots of interesting things to talk about.
Yes, we do, man. Yes, we do. It's going to be a fun one for sure.
All right, guys. Well, real quick before we hop in here, we're going to talk about the new weapon leaks that we saw from a German YouTuber. We're going to talk about the Tales from Aeternum, the Lost version, which I thought was pretty cool, dude. I was, the Lost is maybe my least, hyped up enemy race, but dude, after watching that video, I kind of have a little bit of interest going now. And then finally, we're going to talk about the Gamescom event. Obviously, New World played a big part on that presentation, so we're going to talk about all of the information we got, or lack thereof, at Gamescom. So, real quick, Bordy, if you're listening to the podcast, guys, if you don't mind, just hit the 5-star rating and review. It helps us out. You don't even have to write a review. Just click the 5 stars and then hit next on there. It helps us out a lot, get found on all the podcasting platforms as New World builds up and we get to launch. It really helps us, again, be found. And then if you're watching on YouTube, yo, what's up? Hit the subscription button, and then you can see every episode that comes out. We put them out every week. All right, dude. So here we go. Lots of hype here. Extremely excited about the recent, leaks. I don't know. What do you want to call it, dude? It seems like they're playing New World. They have permission to play New World and to make YouTube videos about New World. So it seems like maybe like a oops type of leak, but we got a lot of it. I
don't know, man.
It's hard to say, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was a mistake or if it was like intentional, if this was some sort of like publicity stunt, but why on a German channel? Like I'm so confused with the whole situation. It does kind of feel like a kind of an uh-oh type of situation. That's what it feels like to me. Yeah. Maybe the guy was playing on the wrong client whenever he did the video. I don't know.
Yeah. He opened up the friends and family one potentially and got a lot of new information. Hey, well, I'm happy he did, to be completely honest. I understand almost zero of the words in the video, but we did like the pictures, Bordy. And the first picture we are going to discuss on tonight's video is the Daggers, dude. So leaked weapon images. We got 3 in total, and the one that I think probably one of the most requested weapon types in the game is dual-wielding daggers, and it seems like we're getting it, dude. Dual-wield, it seems they're like close-range weapons that can be thrown. They mentioned that in the tooltip, and they will scale primarily off of dexterity, Bordy. So what do you think, dude? We're getting daggers sometime soonish, maybe, in New World.
Yeah, I would think so. It really wasn't that big of a surprise. It was a surprise to me to see them actually in game and to see him playing on this client. I actually see this released in a YouTube video. But as far as like the actual weapon itself, I think we've seen this leaked before with daggers. And I was excited to see them, and it's one of my most anticipated weapons. I know a lot of people are really looking forward to like the Void Gauntlet. I'm interested in the daggers, man, because we already have magic in the game, man. We already have some really hard-hitting melee weapons in the game, man. What we don't have is more of a stealthy style rogue style class, and that's what the daggers are gonna fit. I think we have the rapier, but it doesn't really fit into that category either. But I think daggers may kind of fit there, man. So we'll see. So I'm kind of excited to see what they do with that and what kind of abilities we get tied to the daggers.
Yes. Now they did not mention anything about stealth in the tooltip, which is I am happy about. But I would think that if there's going to be any weapon about us that has stealth, it's going to be daggers. So
I hope we don't get stealth.
Yeah,
I don't want stealth. Yeah.
It tends to be a mechanic that's extremely hard to balance. But again, we looked at the video, and in the video, we were able to capture a screenshot. And so now the weapon, the interesting thing about the first 2 weapons that we're going to talk about, that they have placeholder images. They just basically reuse some weapon images in the game, and then one of them even had a reused tooltip. But it is evident that as you look through the screenshots, there is a second sword in the dexterity line, and then that sword is well fleshed out, which like, it's highlighted or whatever, which shows that it's a primary stat, and that is the only section that has a second sword. So Bordy, I think it's pretty safe to assume now that dexterity, at least, or daggers, at least at this point in time and development, are going to scale completely off of dexterity. So we got our first solely scaling dexterity melee weapon.
Yeah, which is pretty much what you would expect, I think, with daggers, right? At least that's what I would expect. It's no surprise. I would think that maybe dex intelligence, maybe, but I think throwing them in dex and scaling them 100% off of dex is just fine, dude. I'm more interested to see what abilities they have tied to this bad boy. Unfortunately, we didn't get that. But let's speculate a little bit here, man. What kinds of abilities do you think we will see with something like dual wielding daggers? Because at this point, I think it's all but confirmed that we're going to get them in the game at some point or another.
So I did like a video a long time ago about like one of the angry earth mobs that dual wielded daggers.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I think we're definitely, or I would think we're potentially going to get like a dash, like a closed range, like where you take two daggers and kind of like parade out. Coating poison seems like a good ability on the daggers. Maybe you can coat your weapons in some sort of toxic poison. That's one of your abilities that allows you to like put on dots for a certain amount of time, kind of like a bleed, but maybe like disease or blight damage. I think something like that. What do you think, Bordy? Stealth aside, what do you think we potentially see?
Yeah. So we've talked about stealth before on the show, and neither of us really want to see that come into the game, and I don't. So let's put that aside for just a second. I wouldn't mind, though, some sort of backstab ability, some sort of mobility, almost like a flash ability or something to go to the back of the enemy and backstab them. I don't know how you'd balance that or how you'd counter that, but maybe some sort of blink ability or something just to get you to the back of your enemy easier. Or, I don't know, something like that would be good. But I think some sort of a high crit damage, very quick hitting abilities that just don't do a ton of damage, but they're really, really fast. And a lot of crit damage is what I'd like to see with those things, man.
Yes, lots of crit, maybe backstabbing, maybe an increased bonus even to positioning of damage. Overall, dude, I'm glad. I think we all knew dual wielding will eventually be in the game, and it seems to be, its first weapon is going to be the dagger or the daggers.
But didn't it say something about some throwing attacks in there too with those things?
Absolutely. Yes, it did mention in the tool tip that it said one-handed weapons for close range melee combat that have short range throwing attacks. So this is a new tooltip. It doesn't match any of the other weapons in the game. I always assume it's going to be probably similar to the hatchet, Bordy, where you have a tree that is like, melee based and then a tree that is range based. So, and which I, again, love that idea of chucking daggers or throwing knives. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty fun. And I think it fits with the daggers too. I don't know if I want to see it just as solely like, I don't know if I want to see like how they did with the hatchet with just a throwing tree and just a melee tree. I would almost want to see more of a mixed and matched version of that just to be a little bit different than what you have with the hatchet. But that's just preference. I don't know. We'll see, man. I am excited about the daggers. I want to see how they incorporate those into the game and kind of if they have any plans of making kind of more of a rogue style class with some sort of I am fully against like going invisible whenever we're talking about stealth, but if there was some sort of like other stealth mechanics, maybe, I don't know. I'm interested to see how they incorporate that into the game.
Well, I think, there's some interesting like differences between stealths and games. Some of them like make you completely untargetable and make it impossible to deal damage to you. Some like just make you invisible, but still like, if you're standing in an AoE or something, your stealth's going to get popped. You take damage. There are ways to safely execute it without making too much of a stir in like a meta setting, but I generally hope that stealth is just kind of tied to crouching and getting in the prone position. I like that mechanic, and I hope that they keep stealth at least for now in that aspect of the game.
Yeah.
All right, so the second weapon that we're gonna get, or that potentially we're gonna get. Again, this is all like leaked information, so. Confirming it is not possible at this time. No, New World has not made an official topic on it, but we have the Blunderbuss, dude. And what's interesting about the Blunderbuss is that it's going to primarily scale off of strength, dude. So what do you think about the blunderbuss? Which again, I looked this up because someone I think questioned my knowledge of blunderbuss. It is a shotgun. It is a shotgun-like weapon. The tooltip that's in the video is a copy of the musket tooltip, so it doesn't really tell us anything. So no new information there. But we did see a picture in the video of a gun in the strength tree, Bordy, and that gun is again it signifies a primary stat. So it looks like the blunderbuss is going to scale off of strength. What do you think about the blunderbuss being added to New World?
Yeah, I like it, man. I'm a big fan of the blunderbuss weapon in general, and it is kind of a shotgun scatter shot type of weapon. I think it is a pistol, though, right? It's like a pistol that just has like a scatter shot, right? Isn't that what a blunderbuss is?
Yeah, pistol,
sure?
pistol or rifle.
Yeah.
I think it's just got the main thing that like signifies a blunderbuss is that like it's what is that Elmer Fudd or who is it in the Looney Tunes that had that like that gun?
Yeah,
it
Elmer
looks
Fudd,
like
the big
yeah, it looks like a horn, like a trumpet at the
Yeah.
end of it. Yeah, a scatter shot trumpet.
Yeah.
So, but yes.
Yeah, I'm excited about the blunderbuss, man. I want to see how they're going to incorporate this into the game as well. It's a close range, like a close range ranged weapon, I guess, which is cool. It's different than what we have right now with the musket and the bow. So I'm excited about it, man. We'll see. I kind of want like a pistol and a shield combo like we have, and maybe we'll get something like that. I don't know, because we don't get a lot of information about the blunderbuss from this little tooltip here from this video, but other than it's going to be in the game. And I do think this is another one that they have teased a whole lot, or maybe they haven't teased it, but it's been leaked a whole bunch.
Yeah.
We've seen this around. So I think this weapon too is all but confirmed. I do believe we'll get a blunderbuss at some point in the future. I think this is planned. Now, as far as this thing scaling off of strength primarily, dude, I don't know. That's a tricky one for me, Red, because you have these very, very strong weapons that scale off of strength primarily, bro. It seems like strength is going to be, it would be super strong, man, because whenever you spec all the way into 300 points of strength, you get grit on your light and heavy attacks, which is crazy strong. And then whenever you incorporate a kind of a ranged weapon with that, I don't know, man. I don't know. I see that being on paper and in my mind, that just sounds so incredibly powerful. You just throw great axe on there, great axe blunderbuss, or sword and board blunderbuss, or warhammer blunderbuss. I don't know. That seems very, very strong. So I'm not so sure about scaling it 100% off of strength if that is going to be the case. But either way, I'm here for it, man. I'm here for a blunderbuss. I think it's gonna be dope.
Yeah, it's definitely strong in like open world, like small group PvP. I think this strength, section did need some range tied to it. So I like that the thought behind putting it in strength. But you're right; it might be tough to balance in open world PvP just with having weapons like the great axe and the hatchet also scaling off of strength. But we'll see, dude. Maybe the tooltip or the toolkit for the blunderbuss is completely different than we're thinking, and maybe it's maybe a more of a support weapon of some sort. Who knows, dude? It's gonna be
we don't know the abilities
yet.
Yeah. The abilities, I think, will be a huge factor in what it scales off of too, because you're right. Maybe the abilities maybe it doesn't do just a boatload of damage. Maybe it is more of like a support style weapon to apply debuffs or something to your target. Who knows? Yeah.
And I think it's reasonable to guess that this is going to be a lot, have a shorter range or effective range than most of the range weapons we're used to in the game. So we'll see just how short that is, because that could be a significant piece to the play style of the blunderbuss as well.
Yeah.
All right, guys. And last but certainly not least, something that was teased during the Gamescom event and now is all but been confirmed to being added into New World is the Void Gauntlet, Bordy. This is my dream come true, dude. You know me, dude. I'm a warlock. I'm a some sort of death wizard. I love playing these things, and the Void Gauntlet is coming to New World. So here's some important things that we found. So the Void Gauntlet, all those images that they did leak in Gamescom, pretty much confirmed that they are all Void Gauntlets because of the tooltip that we saw in the video. It does show a gauntlet holding a ring in the tooltip. So all of the images that they put out are gauntlets holding rings. So it does seem to be some sort of maybe like ancient technology, Bordy, or something along that name, or something along that line. But one of the other things that we found out, dude, and we've been kind of speculating this for a while, is that its primary stat will be intellect, and it will be a split stat weapon. So focus will be its secondary weapon or secondary stat. Bordy. So we kind of thought that this would be the case, and it's been confirmed. The Void Gauntlet's coming to New World. Looks like it's the most fleshed out weapon of all of these three, because it has its own, imagery, and obviously we've seen a lot of like in-game art for it as well. So Bordy, what do you think about the Void Gauntlet coming to New World?
Stoked about it, man. I think it's going to be amazing. Now, this is something that we did see at the Gamescom event, like you mentioned before, and we'll talk about Gamescom here a little bit later. But the imagery of this thing looks dope too. I love the gauntlet with the ring. It looks incredible. It looks sinister. It looks really, really cool. It's scaling off of intelligence and focus is very interesting to me as well, because if it is a damage-dealing weapon, and we do have some information, kind of some leaked information about what to expect ability-wise too. I don't know if we're going to talk about that on this podcast or not. I think we're going to drop a video potentially goes a little bit more in depth about the Void Gauntlet and our thoughts there, maybe around the abilities and a little bit more detail there. But it is interesting to see this thing be tied to intelligence and focus. We knew that we were going to get another focus weapon at some point, man. It can't just always be the healing staff. So it's going to be interesting to see how people incorporate this into their build. But I think the bigger question in my mind is, when are we going to get this weapon? Because I think this is pretty close. I think this is pretty close to being incorporated into the game. The Dagger and the Blunderbuss, I don't think so much. I think we'll get them at some point, but I don't think we'll get them relatively soon. The Void Gauntlet almost sounds like we're going to get it like soon, man. I don't know about on launch, but maybe really soon after, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, it does seem like you're right. The first bit of content that's going to come out is involving potentially that desert zone that we talked about on a couple episodes ago, and the Void Gauntlet. The Void Gauntlet is very fleshed out. We already know the zone was like, accessible in the beta. You could run into the zone. Obviously, it wasn't fleshed out, didn't have NPCs and stuff. But that seems to be also a thing that's pretty close to being added. So, dude, what do you think? The first bit of content that we're going to see in New World seems to be the Void Gauntlet and the new desert zone, Brimstone Sands. This is pretty cool to look at and speculate about. But the question now is not if, I think. It's definitely when. When are we going to get these things?
Yeah, I would think so. That is a good question, but I think, like I said, I think that the Daggers and the Blunderbuss probably a little ways off would be my guess. I do think the Void Gauntlet and Brimstone Sands and some other content potentially is going to happen very quickly after release. I would imagine, close to holiday season would be my guess. This game releases the very end of September, so we'll play it probably for October. I would imagine, maybe by the end of November we might be getting an expansion or something. Some new content.
New content for sure. I don't know if we want to use that the expansion term
not
quite
expansion.
yet, but I agree with you. Like, we're
true.
definitely going to get some new content updates for sure. They've been so good about releasing that consistently through the alpha, through the different phases of the alpha. How quick they were putting out content there between the preview event and the closed beta. Dude, if they can keep like even half that pace up during live, I think all New World fans are going to be happy with the amount of content that's being added on a regular basis in the game.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, yeah, guys, anything else that you can think about for the Void Gauntlet, dude? Overall, dude, I have no idea what happened in this video. I don't know if they're later going to be asked to take this video down now that it's basically surging all over Reddit and everything like that. But it was a nice surprise on Sunday to kind of see these new weapons come to New World for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no, I don't have a lot to add, man, other than I'm excited about all three of these weapons. And I think that we're going to get them. I do think that all three of these weapons are something we will see for sure in game at some point.
Yeah, we haven't really seen any leaks like this of weapons that completely get like fleshed out in the mastery tree system. I mean, they were there. There was a video of someone equipping the Void Gauntlet even. And we get to see the equip animation, so that's also like all but confirms that it's actually in the game. So we'll see, dude. I think you're spot on with the Void Gauntlet launch, but the other two weapons I think are ways off. But I think they're basically confirmed at this point.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, next on the docket we have Tales from Aeternum, the Lost series, and again, Bordy, the Lost is kind of maybe my least interested. Or at least I had the least interest in this particular enemy family. But that doesn't mean like I despised it. All of them are pretty interesting. But after hearing the backstory of the Lost, dude, it got me intrigued for sure because there's some unique traits that the Lost have that the other enemy families don't. So real quick here, dude, the Lost is kind of broken up into 3 different sections. You have these soulless pirates and buccaneers. We're familiar with them. They're the first enemies you encounter as you get into Aeternum, and you land on the shores there. So you have that section of the Lost. You have the Withered, which those are the ones that are kind of swarming around the farms and abandoned buildings in New World. And then you also have the Haunted, which are like the Halloween type, the guy carrying around the tombstone and the ghosts, or the what's the official word that I'm looking for here? Geists. There we go. That are all in New World.
Spectre, scepter, not scepter. Scepter's the like, staff thing you hold. Like a specter.
Yeah. So those are the 3 sections of the Lost. I just think it's interesting here, dude. And this is a question I wanted to ask you as we kind of watch the Tales from Aeternum of the Lost. Is now all of the Lost seem to be in a different state than obviously any of the adventures on Aeternum. Obviously we've kind of been through the Angry Earth, who seem to be like a natural response from the island. You have the Ancients, who, seem to be visitors from a long, long time ago that found this magic, the magic of Aeternum in Azoth. And then, of course, you have the Corrupted, who seem to be some sort of experiment gone wrong. So, Bordy, dude, the Lost seem like these soulless beings that wander the island. They have life, but the quality is definitely questionable. Do you think potentially the reason that these people sought out Aeternum was the reason that they ended up becoming the Lost?
I don't know, man. That's a good question. I think that you may be onto something there, because why else would they become the Lost and other people aren't? It's almost like a punishment of sorts to be
like a judgment
to be a Lost. Yeah. And then, we know as players, whenever you go to Aeternum, if you die, you come back and you're still human, essentially. So these people are stuck though in this lost state, in this undead state, which is pretty interesting to think about. Almost the same type of thing whenever you look at the Ancient Guardians and how they became Ancient Guardians. A little bit different. There's obviously some discrepancies there, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is their reasoning behind coming to the island, and that's what stuck them in this state versus other people that had maybe better intentions. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems to be something along those lines. Obviously, we had that lore series about Isabella and how she would take people out past the tide and drop them in, and they would wash back up as Lost. So there might be something tied with like maybe dying outside of Aeternum and then like getting, kind of drifting in as a corpse into Aeternum. That seems to be something linked to the Lost as well.
Yeah, maybe so, which is what you see whenever you first wash up on the shores of Aeternum, are all these dead sailors. So maybe you might be onto something there too. It is interesting, and we don't know the full picture behind it yet, but the video was good. It did give us a little bit more insight into the Lost for sure.
Yeah, and we've got one left now, Bordy, I think, and that's the Corrupted, the arch enemy of the the storyline, it seems, or at least the enemy of Aeternum. And dude, I'm excited to get that as well. But overall, dude, I love this series. I hope they keep doing content like this because it is a ton of fun to kind of watch and speculate about as we get closer and closer to launch.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Bordy. So this brings us to the main topic tonight, and that is Gamescom. So, Gamescom is an event. It's a European event that goes on every year, and New World's had a presence there the past couple of years. They've kind of been, I guess, like lackluster, so to say, because we don't typically get new information at the Gamescom events, but we did get some stuff this time around. First and foremost, Bordy, as we go through here, we got, let's just kind of give our overall thoughts of the event as far as New World's president goes.
Sure, sure. I thought it was okay, man. I thought it was pretty good because we did get a big announcement, obviously, with the announcement of open beta. We also got a new trailer, and I thought this trailer was potentially one of the best trailers they've put out to date. I thought it was really, really good. Their initial trailer I thought was really, really good, but then this one looked really nice too. They did a little bit more editing to this trailer. There was a lot in the trailer packed in there, gave you a good sense of what the game was. I thought the trailer looked really, really nice. It got me hyped for the game for sure, as if I'm not hyped enough for it already, but it did get me hyped for the game. I think it served its purpose. It's a great trailer. And then the drop of the open beta, dude, that's something that I didn't see coming at all, man. I didn't think we were going to have an open beta. They've said before we were not going to have it, that open beta was not going to be a thing. And then I think that just the amount of interest they seen during closed beta and how big it was, I think they just figured they better do a little bit more testing maybe on their servers and whatever on a large scale. So I would imagine that's what the open beta is for, and maybe even potentially a marketing thing to get more people into the game, to give people a chance to play it for free for a couple of days, hopefully to drive some more sales, I would imagine, which I hope it does. I think it will. I think it'll be a big MMO, but overall, I thought it was good. And then we got to hear Scott Lane drop a few hints about some things that might be coming, which we can talk about here in a minute, that I thought was pretty dope too, and encouraging for sure to hear him talk about how they have plans to keep this game running for many, many years to come. Every time he says that, it's very encouraging to me to hear him say that, because I want the game to be incredibly successful. So overall, I thought it was good, man. I thought it was a good segment.
See, now I had a different take on why they did the open beta. I think because of the delay, they kind of thought okay, well, let's get the hype going again. Let's do one more beta just for fun, to get things right and get that hype train moving towards launch. But yeah, I am excited, dude. Nonetheless, we're going to get 3 days of getting to play the game, which I'm excited about. Some questions have been kind of going around. Maybe we're going to get to start at max level, maybe like level 30 or level 60 even, to kind of get to test things, that they've kind of been working on, such as like siege server stability and things like that. Because, 3 days isn't necessarily enough to get to max level and start testing those in-game events, but we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. They haven't made any official announcements about that yet, but that's, I think, one of the questions that's circulating around right now.
Yeah. I hope we get to test all that stuff out. We'll see. You know what? I would like to test the open beta. I would like to participate in some Outpost Rush during the open beta. True. That would be dope. But I don't know that we'll get the opportunity to do that. But I don't think too many people had the opportunity even during closed beta, because not a lot of people were max level. So it would be nice to be able to try that out. And I think it would probably serve them well to be able to test that a little bit too. But who knows? I'm not holding my breath for that for open beta.
We will see. So another thing, again, that we got to see was the Void Gauntlet tease. We've talked quite a bit about that already, so we won't go into too much detail there. We do plan on putting like a full video together of all the information we have so far, which is basically everything, Bordy, except for like maybe the actual mastery trees. So that'll be exciting to do. But they did show us imagery. They didn't call it the Void Gauntlet. They just showed us the images as kind of a tease. So that was kind of cool. And I think the most important thing, or the thing that had me the most excited in the Gamescom event, was that they restated that New World will launch September 28th, which made me made me happy. Yeah. It's like, yo, we're a month out, and they could have said like, you know what, we think it needs a little bit more time, but they did not say that, dude. They said that the game is coming September 28th, which makes me happy. I want to hear that over and over again. Too. I can hear that every day until launch, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, me too. I liked that part of it. I also liked the part of it where Scott Lane was talking about the new content that's going to come. So, he hinted it at giving us new expeditions, a new weapon, a new zone, which I think that we've already all speculated about that quite a bit. But then the other thing that made me really, really happy too was the hints at a holiday event that he talked about there towards the end, which made me think, this thing is releasing on September the 28th. Does that mean we're going to get a holiday event for Halloween? Because I think a Halloween event in New World, bro, I think it could be epic, man, with the setting of New World, with kind of how dark it is, some of the things they could do with that, I think would be really, really cool. And I hope that's what he meant. I hope he meant not just Thanksgiving and kind of New Year's or Christmas events. I'm hoping that he meant like a Halloween event is right around the corner. A month after launch, we have an event. That would be so dope, dude. So I hope we get that. That made me really excited as well.
Yes, for sure. And potentially that could have been a hint towards when the new content is coming.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that too. Yeah,
in the holidays. So Interesting to think about, dude. Scott Lane, I think he groomed a little bit, dude. He's a, you know what I mean? Maybe a little bit sad. Scott is a you know a great looking guy. You know, he can pull anything off. But dude, I was loving the you know, the majestic mane that the man had. So he did do a little bit of grooming, which is fine. But you know, I will always remember caveman Scott Lane from here until the game is you know.
Yeah, I love it every time we see him on camera. He looks a little bit different, and I love it, man. I always always puts a smile on my face every time I see him get on camera and talk. I think he is he's a neat guy, man. I like listening to him.
He's got the level of chill that I want all my friends to have, which is basically like you could tell him, you know, there's a massive tornado coming, and I think he would have the same demeanor as talking about New World, which is dope.
All right, so Red, I know this wasn't on the docket to talk about, but I'm going to bring it up anyway because I think we'd be remiss if we didn't bring it up. What did you think about day 2 of Gamescom and the event that they had there?
On Twitch, the Twitch thing? Okay, so, dude, this happens sometimes. You and I both know it. And it's just, you know, they have the people that do the show, which overall they did a great job. But when you go topic to topic, especially with a game like New World, who has so much hype behind the game, and then they kind of like, you know, potentially didn't know hardly anything about the game, it did kind of like lower the amount of information I think that was discussed. Maybe that was intentional by the New World team. Maybe they said, hey, don't ask any questions about certain things, but it did overall seem like they didn't know a ton about the game, which kind of I took away from the you know, the interview, obviously.
Yeah, I felt really, really bad for those two, man. I'm not going to lie. I felt absolutely awful for both of them whenever I was watching it because chat was just tearing them apart and talking about how bad it was. And I was like, man, you guys gotta understand it's not their fault as the interviewers asking the questions. They don't know what the game is. They don't play the game. Obviously, they didn't play New World. They didn't know a lot about it. They didn't know what questions to ask. They were doing the best they could do given the situation they were put in. I thought it was pretty bad too, obviously, because we're invested in the game. We know what's going on with the game, what's going on with New World. We wanted to hear some hard-hitting questions, some questions that were going to give us information, and we just didn't get that. And so overall, the interview was very awkward because they just didn't know what to ask. They didn't know what direction to go in, and it made it rough. But so if anybody out there is wondering about that interview, don't go. It's not really worth going to watch. There's no new information there. You're not going to get a lot out of it if you've been following the game for a while. But I felt really bad for those two, man. It wasn't their fault, man. They didn't know. They didn't know what to ask or what to do. But it wasn't what I was hoping for. I was excited about it. I was at work whenever I watched it, and I made sure to be at my PC to watch that thing. And then it was just kind of a big disappointment. I was hoping for some good info there. Yeah,
and again, I think maybe lean towards a more casual audience, and I think that the host did a good job overall. But when you have a game. It's interesting because, you know, New World's already built up a pretty hardcore fan base. As you could see, like when it was like whatever time it was, our time, like 13:30 on the dot, like you could tell that people were pouring into the chat room and talking about New World the game before like went over a couple minutes. And obviously people were getting a little bit stir crazy. But yeah, New World's got a pretty decent amount of hype right now. And I just think that there's a lot of people that know a lot about the game, and I don't know if that interview was necessarily meant for them. So, overall, I was just glad they're there. Obviously, it was cool to watch our buddies, Commander A's and McLeod. They got to host a little bit of the event,
which was dope. They did a great job. They did a great job.
They did a great job because it was funny because, dude, they lost. I knew me and you and Taken were in a chat together, and we were talking like, watch. Remember last year we all sat in the chat room for like 3 hours, and New World was literally the last thing that they showed, and we were like, dude, watch. They're gonna do the same thing this year. They're gonna tell us noon, and then by 2:30, that's when New World's gonna come up. And sure enough, it was. And Commander A's and McLeod had to do it. They did a great job stalling for that long to get there. But if you didn't get it, I don't know if they'll re-release the drop, but there was a drop just for Gamescom of a skin in game, dude. I love the fact that they're kind of slinging these out here. The more drops, the merrier in my mind, dude. I want all of the cosmetics to mix and match. Dude, they put out another one. The game's not even out yet. There's already been 2, Porty. So the Twitch integration on New World is going to be next level. That's for sure.
Yeah, I like it. The only problem that I have with it is if I happen to miss one, I'm going to be tilted, man.
No, you're not going to miss one, dude. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I hope I don't miss one, but I mean, if I do, like if something comes up and I have to miss one of these drops, I'm going to be tilted, bro. I'm going to be mad that I didn't get the deadgum drop, but hopefully there'll be another way for these people that did miss it to maybe get it a little bit later on. And I'm totally fine with that. Like it's not something super exclusive. You got it from a Twitch drop. Like maybe they need to have another Twitch drop of the same thing or that plus something else, like a catch up one or something. I don't know,
dude. I like the exclusivity. I like the idea of like, you know what I
mean? Yeah, but I mean, it's a Twitch drop, dude. It's not like I don't know. I like the idea of exclusivity too, to an extent. I think that the golden armor skin was cool because that was an event that lasted a long time. So people had a chance to get in there and get it. This was a 1-day event, bro, that lasted for like, I mean, I know the event overall lasted for a time. I have it too.
No, I know what you're saying. Maybe this will be the same drop that they do during open beta, right? Maybe this will be the same skin that they have as a drop during open beta, which would be cool. You know, some of the content creator, if you're in the content creator program, maybe you get the drops to give out this during that event. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. But dude, I just love the idea of them. And honestly, they're kind of making it to the fact that if you play New World, you're going to watch Twitch, right? And that awesome. Becomes very interesting because we know what a machine Twitch can be for advertisement and hype. Mm-hmm. And so if they just kind of like have that revolving door, like New World to Twitch to New World to Twitch, dude, things could get interesting really, really quick. They mentioned the stats during the Gamescom event, and they were pretty impressive. The Twitch stats were. They went through all of those, and it was pretty insane to see, you know, how big of a splash New World made in the beta phase. So that was,
and I think that it'll be on release. I don't know about the open beta, but I think on release, man, the game is going to be definitely in the top of Twitch for a good while. You know, it won't sit there forever because there will be really big streamers that jump on the train for a little bit and then they're going to leave, just like they did during the closed beta, just like what happens with every game. But I do think it's going to be a very popular game on Twitch nonetheless for a very long time. I don't know if it'll be number one. It'll be number one for a while, maybe for the first couple of weeks, and then after that, it'll kind of fade off. But I think it will be high in the directory and a very watched game. It is an interesting game to watch. It's a fun MMO to watch, I think, more so than some other MMOs that are out there.
Yeah, the open world aspect and everything like that definitely adds to it. The competition of territories is fun to watch as well. Obviously, we got to see Battle for New World do, wonders for, the interaction on Twitch as well. So, dude, I'm excited. Dude, I can't wait for the game to come out.
We're close.
We're so close.
Like we've been saying that.
We've been saying that for a year and a half, but that's fine. Yeah, it's okay. The hype. I will not let the hype die. I will continue to. We've been putting out a podcast a week since we were young boys. So we're ready. We're ready. All right, dude. Well, that about does it for that topic. Again, Gamescom was a joy. Again, just to see more New World content from the official team. And we're going to slide on over to the Company of the Week.
Company of the Week this week is the Black Powder Charter, man. I like the name. Region EU. Their server is undecided right now. They're going to be playing in the filthy faction of the Marauders. Their language is English, focus PVX, size 51+. They are currently recruiting. So it says that they are a PVX company and they're going to stay true to both PvE and PvP in terms of organization, game content, and the company will create space for players to enjoy and push every single content the game has to offer. So it sounds like they're kind of verging on kind of a hardcore-ish company. They're wanting to experience everything in the game, it sounds like. It says they're focused on creating a community of players who are engaging in gameplay content, Discord, and just are a part of the company overall. They're not looking for just members that are doing nothing more than running around with your company tag. They want everybody to be engaged with their company, doing the company events like the dungeons, PvP, team content, and everything that you're supposed to do with your company. They want it to be a close-knit group of people. So they also have kind of the core of the company and their branches, launch day plans, some etiquette that they have posted out there as well. And then they have their Discord and all of their other information. So you can learn about the Black Powder Charter by clicking the link that's going to be found in the description below, everywhere this podcast can be found.
Yes, I like their image that they have on the website. It's a cat listening to music. I don't know what that has to do with the Black Powder Charter, but I like it. All right. Well, thank you so much to the Black Powder Charter to creating their account over there on New World Fans to promote their company. And thanks for being the company of the week. Guys, again, if you haven't created your company account, if you're maybe governor of a company, go use New World Fans to promote your your company. You can use it for recruiting. Obviously, type up a little bit of a snippet to show people what you're all about, and you might have a chance to be promoted on the podcast, just like the Black Powder Charter. Again, thank you to our Patreons. You guys are the best. Thank you for supporting us through this period of waiting, dude. It's been such a blessing, Bordy, to have people around our Discord. People on our Discord, the Patreon, our YouTube subs. You guys are the best. Thanks for, and especially the listeners of the podcast, Bordy. This is the first thing we ever did about New World. We're 82 episodes strong, and we're thankful for each and every one of you again. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating. It helps us out a ton. And Bordy, we'll be back next week with who knows what. Maybe more weapon leaks. It's kind of hard to tell at this point, but we'll be really, really close to open beta. So hopefully we'll have some new information about that as well. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you on another episode of New World to Go.